Okay, I'm back. Let's get her back on here. That was like the so hopefully now she can join. That was the weirdest thing
Oh,
ever. I don't even
it
know
was
what
a mom
happened.
move. I'm not gonna.
What what
I'm
did
just
you
not even
do?
gonna get into it.
Okay, we're moving on. Anyways, back to what we were saying.
I'm so
I was in the middle
sorry,
of
but it
it,
was
but
completely my fault.
okay, well, we're moving on. We're not going to do that again. Okay, so back to what we were talking about. We were talking about, we've been watching a lot of different videos about sports, like athletes, college, professional, everything in between, parents, and like the mental health aspect and everything like that. And what I was saying was it's interesting to see how a couple years ago, when someone would come out with their mental health, and like saying that what they're going through, it's interesting to see how a couple years ago there were athletes that were getting very negative responses and were saying like it's not a big deal and all of that. And now when we have like athletes coming out, it's very positive and it's very supportive. So it's interesting to see, and it's also kind of like what
I think
changed.
it came, you can really see, especially after COVID, and I don't like to blame everything on COVID, but it's a fact. After COVID, so many people's mindsets changed to that because everyone got shut down. And so everyone dealt with so much
Yes.
mental stuff and depression and anxiety and just plain being scared of what's going to happen. And I think that's what shifted because now you see it all over and people are so much more acceptant of, yeah, we really do need help. I keep going back to the kids that I'm working with now, and I didn't think I was going to get the response of, um, yeah, we need this. This is so important. And I don't think 2 years ago I would have got that response. It would have been rolled their eyes and they said, no, I don't want
No,
to do
agree. I
this.
agree.
But now they are completely on top of it because they understand that their mental health is, they can struggle so easily.
I think even if we would have started this podcast or the workbook and everything 2 years ago, I don't think it would be like working and progressing the way that it is right now. Um, I completely agree. Like COVID was just like a huge thing for mental health, and it's really exciting. Honestly, I really think it's so important because I can't tell you how many times I would talk about because I've dealt with depression and anxiety for a very long time now, and it's really interesting to see now how people respond to if I were to express that's what I've gone through than when I used to. It was a lot more of like, oh, that's just in your head, it's not real, like that kind of thing. When it's absolutely real, it is
Yeah.
absolutely 1000% real. And especially in sports, it's crazy the amount of pressure and um, stress that is put on you between yourself, the audience, your coaches, everything else. All of the stress is put on this athlete to perform. One mistake, you could be taken out, like things like that, or one mistake could lose a round for you, or anything like that. So the pressure just builds, and so of course you're gonna have some kind
Right.
of anxiety from it. Um, like that's just, I feel
It's
like that's
natural, but
natural.
when you put so much pressure on yourself to perform for everybody else, you're not doing it for yourself anymore. You're doing it for everybody else. And so
Yeah.
when comes the time that you stop enjoying the game for you because all you're doing is trying to please the team, trying to please your parents, trying to please the coach, trying to just be better? And when do you decide I want to be better for myself, or I'm just striving so that I can be the best I can for everybody else?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, one of the things in the videos we were watching, he had one of the players, I can't remember, I think it was Patrick what is his last name? That one. Yes, that one. He was taking a break. He was just taking a break from sports, and one of the interviewers had asked him and asked the coach, who was also his dad, and said, is he like completely taking a break, or is he like still gonna, is he gonna go to practices and still be involved with the team and stuff? And Patrick had made it very well known to his teammates and to everybody when he came out with all of this that he would still be involved with his team and be at practices and be at everything, but he needed a break from the sport, which I think that's super important because your teammates are a value and they can be your biggest support system. They're your family. And so I think if you take a break from them as a whole, it kind of can maybe make a crack in between you, so that your teammates might not feel like they can support you
Right.
because you want to just be away from them. And I know that's definitely like person to person. Some people need a break from it as a whole, like, and that makes sense. But being able to utilize your teammates is like,
well, and you don't know, maybe one of your
important.
teammates could be having the same issues and just not coming out and saying it. So it's definitely being able to express what's going on and to share what's going on. Maybe you're going to be helping your other teammates too because they're going through the same thing or something similar. And so, you definitely, it's a benefit to be open and honest about what's going on with you mentally because you don't know who's going through it too.
Yeah, you definitely don't know. And sometimes you need one person to come out with it for everyone else to feel comfortable, or like, the next person who has been dealing with it but is too anxious, too nervous to actually come out with it and say that they're dealing with these problems. They might be too nervous, so if one person comes out, the courage for everyone else.
And it gives them the ability to find help, gives them that open door to say, I'm struggling, and what can I do to help myself? Because I don't understand what's happening, or I just need a break, or whatever it is. But those athletes, because half the time they don't know until it's too late, and then their parents don't see the signs. So what are the signs of, you're struggling? If you're just pushing yourself too hard and then all of a sudden you're, not eating and you're not sleeping and you're, because you're so stressed out about your performance, then, those are signs that you need to look at what's happening and why.
Yeah. Yeah, just being able to process the thoughts. We talk about that all the time. Just processing your
thoughts. I think about, the kids that, the video we watched just yesterday about all the kids that have taken their own lives, which, was the parents that came on and were having the interview, and they didn't know.
These athletes that they were athletes. Mm-hmm. They were athletes that had taken their lives, and it's an interview. We can link it below. An interview of parents of previous athletes, or they were athletes but they took their lives, and they were talking about everything that they had gone through and wish that they had noticed.
No, and I was just saying, it's so important for us to be aware that, what our kids are going through, and just, it's so hard to it's so easy to get wrapped up in our own lives and just cheering them on and pushing them because we know they want to do great things. But when's it pushed too hard, and when's it pushed too much because you were pushing them over the edge, or they're pushing themselves over the edge because they can't handle it. So,
Yeah.
that's where I guess we come in, as advocates for mental toughness and just trying to help everyone so that they don't get to that point, or they can recognize when they are getting to that point so they can take a break and they can seek out help.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's tough. I wish we could all just sit and talk in a circle about all the things that we go through as parents and athletes and coaches, because there's so much, and there's so much outside influence. There's so
Yeah.
much, pressure to be great. And what does that mean? And it means something different for
Yeah.
everyone.
And like for parents, it's like, yes, you want to be pushing and like encouraging your kids to like be the best and to achieve their goals, but I feel like there's a happy medium, and I was really lucky with you and Dad to have that happy medium where I didn't feel so overly pressured by you guys to perform, but I more saw you guys as somewhere like a safe place that I could just like, I know that they're going to be okay with how I perform, like no matter what. They're not going to be mad at me. Like they know that I have other things to worry about than how my parents think I'm performing. And I think that's super, super important is to have those parents as that safe place. To be able to say, I don't feel like I played that well, or go through everything play by play if it has to be that way. I know I would take mental notes of what I was thinking during these spots, and you guys did as well, and being able to just talk through them together was really, really
I'm
special.
glad we were able to do that. I look back and think sometimes, we thought you could have pushed harder or trained harder or put in that little extra effort, but we also knew that this wasn't you. If we pushed you so hard, you were going to lose it. You weren't going to continue because you weren't going to enjoy it anymore. And so, we knew you wanted to be great. We knew you wanted to get to that next level, but you were the one that had to put in that work. It wasn't us. We could give you the tools, we could give you the coaches, we could give you, everything that we could to help you succeed. But ultimately, you were the one that had to make the choice to succeed, and that was your choice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and of course, I definitely look back and I'm like, I could have worked harder. I could have always worked harder, but
Yeah,
everything works out
absolutely.
the way that it needs to work.
And there's those kids that are just naturally talented, and that they maybe don't have to work hard, or they're pushed to work even harder, and they just have the strength because they know they have that natural ability that they can go as far as they want, and they don't have to work. They can work for it, and they know mentally that they have it all. And so therefore that mindset of, I've already got this. I'm already completing what I want to complete. I'm able to push harder because I know I'm already great. And so it's not as hard of an effort, but the ones that have to work so hard to get to that next level, that's where the pressure comes on, because you have to put in that extra time. You have to put in that extra effort. And if you're not mentally stable or mentally willing to give yourself a break and say, I can do this, I want to do this, but I know I have to work, and I'm worthy enough for myself to work that hard. But it has to be for them, not for anybody else.
Yeah. Hi, Colton. I did want to say hi. Thank you for joining us.
On there too.
No, they were on, but they left.
Hello,
Colton is on at the moment.
Thanks for joining. So yeah, if anyone has any experiences they'd like to share, please put them in the comments. We'd love to hear your situations, your experiences, because that's what makes this community stronger and better.
Yeah, if we work through it together, process the thoughts together. It's hard. It's challenging. I wish I would have learned all of this sooner. Oh, thanks, Colton. But yeah, oh, hi, Kendall. Kendall's on here. Actually, Kendall, I want to ask you a question. So they just went to this nationally ranked or whatever. It's a national tournament, a Nike tournament. And they did lose. I don't know if she's still on there. I think she just left.
I got
Anyways, I hope that if they maybe I wouldn't be surprised. But they did, like, they lost. Both of our teams lost. They got second place, which is still amazing. But like, if any of them come back on here, I want to definitely make sure that we see if we can get them to talk about how it felt to lose, the emotions that they went through, how did the team do together, and everything like that. I would like to hear what they were kind of going through there if they end up coming back on.
I mean, it's especially when you're top ranked like that, and to come out of it not winners, and what does that do to you mentally and physically? I mean, once your mind gets into it, it affects your physical abilities too. So we are not.
Oh yeah. And it's like is it making you want to work harder, or is it like making you want to stop? You know what I mean? Like, how did you take the loss? Because everyone takes losses differently.
Yep. I know that, I loved when I played, and I loved the sport because I was good at it and because it was just in my whole DNA, right? And but those losses were hard, but I think it wasn't the losses that were hard, but it was how I performed was harder during the game, because I was always so hard on myself that I didn't do enough. I didn't perform at my top, and I didn't have the tools that I have now to say what's going on, what was happening, and a lot of times, especially towards the end of my career, is, my knees were hurting, and it was just a more push harder, it's no pain, no gain, just keep going. And, a lot of kids that start sports so early in their life do go through those physical pains later because they've been pushed so hard early. And therefore, what happens then? Like for me, I lived basketball, middle school, high school. I was going to play college ball and went to Europe to play for 2 weeks and completely just trashed my knees and couldn't do it. And came back, and it was so devastating to me that it was over. And I knew that. And so, for kids that live their sport or their sports, what do you do? How do you get over that devastation of it's over?
Yeah. I mean, I went through the same thing. Pushed for years and years and years, and live, breathe, die for basketball. I did have other things that I was involved in, but basketball always took priority over everything else. High school had a devastation, but then, once I got to college, I was like, okay, I'm here and I'm going to work hard. And I worked really, really hard. And first year I didn't get what I wanted, but I was still proud of the effort that I put in and the accomplishments that I knew that I made. Even if the coaches didn't notice, I noticed. And then second year, obviously, it was an extreme devastation knowing again.
Well, I think when you went to college to play, your mindset changed dramatically. And I think if you would have had the mindset that you had in college, that this is what I really want, and I'm going to work my butt off, and I'm going to take all the setbacks, and I'm going to sorry, my light just went out. I'm going to take all those setbacks, and I'm going to make them better. I'm going to figure out a way to get better and get stronger and get noticed. And I don't think you had that mindset as strong as you did in high school as you did in college. I think you were challenged a little bit more because you really got to a point where this is what you truly, truly want. And you didn't have all the other distractions either.
In college or in high school?
College. I think in college you were definitely more, your mindset was definitely stronger than it was in high school, just because you didn't have all the different distractions.
I agree. But I definitely still had a different mindset in college that I had in high school that I wish I had. Yes, I could handle I think I could handle everything better, like criticism, playing time, mistakes. I could handle all of that a lot better. But I don't think, because I did have that year and a half off of just playing in my own free time, that I didn't still have the drive that I did in high school. I worked very hard, but I wasn't eat, breathe, die basketball like I was in high school. I definitely see that, because like I would spend every free moment that I had in the gym, and I had free moments in college and I chose not to. Yes, I still worked extremely hard, but I know I could have worked harder. But I wasn't sure. I think it was hard because through my senior year, through college, I had a lot of devastations happen in a row, and I didn't know how to put in 110% without getting hurt again. And so that was my biggest thing, was I was afraid to get hurt. Not physically, but mentally. And so I felt like if I didn't go as hard as I did like in high school, then it wouldn't hurt as bad.
Well, and so, gear hurts, the not playing and the not being noticed and the not being chosen, those were big devastations for you. And, I remember you going through them in a point where I don't know if I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, we got you through them. We were there for you, but I don't know that we knew everything that was going on. I think you say things now that I'm like, really? I don't remember you doing that, or I don't remember you coming out and telling us a lot of the things. So, I mean, how do parents try to understand their kids when they're not able to talk to them and they're not able to really see, because kids are so good at hiding their feelings and hiding what they're going through because they don't want to either be a burden, or they don't want their parents to know that they're struggling.
I think for me, like when I got cut my senior year, I think it was more, I didn't know how to process the emotions. So I didn't know how to talk to you guys about it, because I didn't really know what I was going through. That was the first time.
We were all so mad anyway. We didn't understand.
Yeah.
So I think we were all going through a different emotion for that, because we were all so angry at the decision. Yeah. It was nonsense.
Yeah. And I mean, what was it? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Totally just out the window. No, I think I didn't know how to process it, so I didn't know how to talk to you guys about it. I didn't know, it was my first time going through depression. That was my first ever depression wave, is what I would call it. I didn't know what to do. Winter and I had just started dating, and so I mean, him and I went through all of it, but I was also going through not having a best friend at the time. Like, there was a lot of other things that were happening at that point, and it was so much to handle. And so I think I didn't know how to talk about it. I genuinely didn't know how to talk about it, so that's why you guys didn't really know what was going on. But it was challenging, but I chose my senior year, I probably spent more time in the gym than I did at school. And so I think that I didn't know what to do, so I just worked out. I played basketball. I did anything and everything as long as I wasn't sitting there by myself. And I grew up like that, though. Like, I grew up doing everything. Like, I was always doing everything, and I was always like on the go. Like, that's just how life was, and I love it. I to this day love having that go 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 lifestyle, but it never gave me a chance to sit down and just like sink in. So none of my thoughts were ever fully processed because I never gave myself a chance to think about it, because I didn't want to think about it. And so, yes, go, go, go is great, but you need a break.
It catches up to you.
It catches up to you. And it caught up to me when I was 20. When I turned 20, I hit the fan. I hit the wall. Everything from my past just came flooding through, all these different kinds of emotions trying to deal with, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I'm still learning how to deal with it, but
and it's a process, but again, you working through it and you keeping yourself busy. And I think a lot of people do. A lot of people think, well, if I keep busy enough, then I'm not going to think about what's hard. Well, and then all of a sudden that hard becomes a mile long and a mountain high of so many different things. So by the time that you break, you have so many circumstances that are hitting you that you don't know why you're feeling that way. And so then it's trying to decipher, okay, well, what's really the issue? What's really causing my pain? And so then you have so many different things to decipher and to figure out, that it all becomes this mountain that could have just really been very mild if you could have stopped a long time ago and, taken a second to figure out what's wrong.
Yeah.
And I think, I think that's where we come in, and this is where the workbook and what we're doing comes in. We want to get there before all the problems pile up to the point where you can't handle it anymore, so that you can process immediately. Take that time every day or after every game and sit down and say, what happened during this game? What do I feel bad about? What do I feel good about? What could I change? What could I not change? What are all the things that happen?
And so then it doesn't have to affect your relationships either.
Yeah.
Because it affects your day-to-day life. How I go about my day-to-day life is been shaped by everything that I've dealt with in the past. And it's really interesting to see all these college professional, whatever athletes are finally coming out with all their mental health, but nobody talks about it before then.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like you're saying, that's why it's so incredibly important for us to just be able to stop, work through the thoughts now, so then you can push forward. Sometimes the mentality is the only reason why an athlete stops playing. Like, especially in college, or non-college, in high school, beginning of college or whatever, like, you could have gone way further, but you didn't because your mentality couldn't couldn't hang. You know what I mean? Like if you would have been able to start from a young age and work your way up with the practices of working through your thoughts and supporting yourself and understanding that you don't have to take everybody else's pressure onto you, understand why you're doing this, and you'll be able to go further.
Right. And knowing that, it's the problems are good. They're scary and they're hard at the moment, but the moment that we say it's really not a problem, it's just I'm learning. I got to learn how to figure this out. I've got to learn and to face it. Then all of a sudden it's not so hard. And if we continue to just not face those problems, then it continues to grow and it just doesn't go away. We think, oh, if I'll just ignore it, it's just going to go away. It doesn't go away. It just becomes greater. And so if we can learn that problems are okay to have because they're just part of our learning, mistakes are okay because they're part of our learning, and we're going to grow and become better and stronger in everything, in our sports, in our life, in our, physical, everything.
Yeah.
If we just learn to stop and recognize that it's not a problem and why is it an issue this moment and what can I do to make it better?
Yeah.
What do I need to face in my life that I'm not facing? And do the scary things, because you're going to be so much prouder on the other side.
Yeah, makes you stronger.
Yeah, for sure. So,
the moral of the story, go get yourself a workbook so you can work through your thoughts.
We love our workbook, and everyone that has started working on the workbook is really enjoying it, and it's exciting, and we just want to get it out to everybody for sure. And so leave your comments if you're still watching. Please leave your comments if you come on after we've gone live and are seeing a replay. Still put your comments in and share your stories, because you're not alone, and we all have similar problems and issues that come up, and like we said, we're a community, and it takes a village to get mentally strong and get our thoughts in check, for sure.
Do it for your future self.
Yes, for sure.
If I had something like this when I was younger, I think I probably would have been an even better athlete, an even better person, just in general. Just in the mentality state. I think it can really help anybody who needs that kind of help, which truly is everybody.
Yeah. It's just learning how to have confidence in yourself, learning how to just appreciate who you are and know that you're the one that counts for you. And that's it. So you can love everyone else around you, but you got to love yourself first.
Yep. Can't fully love anybody else until you love yourself. So
exactly. So, well, thanks everyone that came on. It's been fun. Love to chat with you, Allie.
Yes,
I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for the chat. I will actually see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Thank you everybody for watching. Feel free to leave comments on any of our other posts. Send us a DM. Parts of this will be posted everywhere. Leave your comments. We want to hear what you guys have to say. Lives will start to be every Wednesday. That is the goal. Next Wednesday is 50-50. We're not quite sure because she's going to be on vacation. So we'll definitely keep you posted, and just keep looking at all of our Instagrams, our Facebook. Everything will be on there. And yeah, just stay tuned.
If there's topics that anyone wants to talk about, please put them in the comments, because our lives, we know we see what we see, but if we don't see everything, we can't share it. So
yeah.
give your comments. Let us know.
Perfect.
Hey.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. We'll see you all next week.
All right. Bye-bye.